Hi everyone, I'm Shauna and welcome to the channel. Welcome into another video for vlogmas. Today's video is the low buy update for November. At the time of filming, it's just the end of the month. Well, almost there. It's November 26th, it's a Friday. I'm kind of getting ahead while I can, and there's only 4 days left of the month, so I feel pretty safe that this is how the month went and this is how it's gonna go. I feel pretty confident that what I bought so far is what I bought for the month, and that's because I am not doing any Black Friday shopping aside from things that were already scheduled ahead of time. And so the fact that something isn't on sale is not an impetus to buy it. I had my list, and whether it's on sale or not, it's bought. So I feel pretty confident that there will be no impulse shopping is what I mean to say. Today's video, this one is the last no buy update of the year, or the last, I shouldn't say no buy, the last low buy update of the year. What I decided to do is, have this one be the last traditional one, and then the video that comes in December is going to be more of a reflection on the year, and it's going to be something that will wrap up the video and the series nicely. I mean, you are still seeing this in December. It's going to be a great video. I'm really excited about it, and I did not want to be producing any update videos next year, in January. I want it to be January 1st, and this project is already over and I could start on the new one. That's what I want. I think my mind and your mind is just on a different page by the time we get to January, and December kind of feels like old news. And December is just such a highly specific month where I think more so than any other time of the year, what happens in December just doesn't feel applicable to January. Whereas if something happens in July, it's you can still talk about it in August. I'm really excited to wrap up this project at the end of the month with you with a kind of finale reflection video. I think it's going to be great, and hope you'll stay tuned for that. So let's start off with the classic, what I bought. And I'm actually going to start off with a couple of replacements. The first replacement I bought is this mini hand cream kit. It was a pack of 4 by Yves Rocher. There's a coconut, olive, mango, and then I also have a vanilla bourbon. That one's already in a purse, so I just have the 3 here. At least 2 of these have to go into another purse because I have finished hand creams, and one of the things that I need in all of my purses bags is a hand cream. I cannot stand dry hands, and I have finished several throughout the year. I bought this set. It was $14, and I actually first bought one from Sephora. It was the Josie Maran set. It was 4 hand creams for $39, and I did buy it during the VIP sale because I was already looking for this product. I got it and they were huge. They were the creams were so big, so I actually returned it, and I bought a smaller set. These were $14, as I just said, so not even $4 per hand cream. I really like the formula of these, and this was just a super practical purchase. This kind of purchase only happens every 2 or 3 years. The last time I bought some was 2019, and because I bought them all at the same time, they're all kind of finishing at the same time, which depends on which bag too. I go through some faster than others. So I am super pleased with this set. I was previously using the Body Shop hand creams. I did not like those, and these are just really moisturizing, and I did not want to buy any kind of holiday scent, so I was really happy with this gift pack. I had actually been looking for a set like this for weeks now, months actually. The first time I started looking was August. I'm just putting some on now. And it was only in the last couple of weeks, last month, when holiday kits started becoming available, that I found this set. So that's number 1. The second replacement is an eye cream. This is the retinol eye cream from the Inkey List. I finished one up from the Inkey List a little while ago, and I was using a different eye cream morning and night, but it just doesn't work for morning as well. It's just too creamy. And anyways, that one is about to be finished too. It's getting down there, probably maybe 2 or 3 weeks left. So I did need a new eye cream, And the one I had from the Inky List, I talked about it in my empties video. There was a lot of gold flecks in it, and I did like the brand, so I was interested in trying something else from the brand. So I purchased the retinol eye cream. I was actually really pleased with myself with that purchase, because what I tend to do is like jump the gun on something and think, oh, it'll be finished in 2 weeks, so I'll buy it maybe next week. And then it takes me even longer to finish the thing than I thought. And then I have 2 things, and then I like jump right into the next one. Very rarely do I finish something, and only once it's finished, I buy the replacement. You can't do that with everything, but I could with this eye cream, because I still kind of had one out. And I did kind of take my own advice and try that one morning and night and kind of see how that went. It's a good eye cream, but only for night for me. So I needed something a little bit gentler during the day, or at the very least, just less creamy. So that one works great. And then the third thing, I don't know if this quite counts as a replacement, because in ways that like I need a hand cream, I don't necessarily need a face mask, but this was replacing my Alia skin mask. So I bought this Kiehl's mask. This is that's the French side. This is the Rare Earth Deep Pore Cleansing Mask. And this has actually been on my wish list to buy for probably a year now. And had Alia Skin not sent me their mask, this would have been the one that I was going to purchase. So here she is. I have not used it yet. I should though. I've heard really great things about this mask, and I'm very excited to use it. Really, I love a clay mask. They're my favorite masks out there, so I'm glad that I have this, and I actually finished it up before the new one came in. So yay again for another win. This was $48 regular price, but I did get it in the Sephora sale. So those are all of the replacements, and I'll get to the other couple of things next. So the next thing I bought is actually a scalp massager. This one is from the Sephora collection, and it is $13. It actually came in a really nice box, and then you have this little silicone kind of hanger, and I actually just hang it off the shampoo in my shower. I use this every single time I'm in the shower, and this base part is actually really hard, and then these bristles, I go in, and they are like, I think this is technically silicone, so there is some softness, but it does the job on your scalp. It's gentle but also exfoliating. This feels so nice on my scalp. I actually look forward to it. Honestly, might be the best purchase of the month. I mean, I don't get so excited about a practical hand cream purchase. It's necessary, but I don't get overjoyed about it. This was unexpected. I mean, I was hoping that I would like it, but what surprised me about this is just how much I like it, and I think how effective it is. And I have been dealing with some dandruff, and I have for a couple of years, and it does come in the fall and winter, and it's mostly just like right here. And so I was hoping that this would help with it without actually having to get a dandruff shampoo and or a scalp exfoliator. My experience with dandruff shampoos in the past has been that they make my hair oily, because I already have an oily hair type, and it just also weighs my hair down. If you know any good dandruff shampoos that are good for people with oily hair, you know, I welcome it, but there are kind of few out there that I haven't tried at this point. So I've been using this, and I've also been using the scrub that I already have. And first of all, this just feels so nice and helps to create this luxurious shower experience. It's like truly a joy to use. It feels so good. It really is a massage. This like $13 has just provided so much joy in my shower routine. I would love to recommend this to you. I don't know if you need this or feel like it would be helpful in your shower routine, but I'm loving it. And so far with the dandruff, I actually have noticed a bit of a difference like right here. I'm not quite sure if it's reduced on the top of my head, but it hasn't been all that long, so the jury's still out. Either way, even if it doesn't do a whole lot for dandruff, it feels so good that I don't want this to go anywhere. The last thing I bought in the Sephora VIB sale is this Tarte primer. I've been wanting to try this for years, and I have been pretty good with primers, and I only have a couple left, 2 left I think, and none of them are this pore filling type of primer, and that's exactly what this one is. So I did get the mini to try it out, and it was $25 plus the 20% off. I haven't used it yet because I've been focusing in on my Project Pan items, but that is going to be ending actually probably before you see this video or around the same time. So I'm really excited to pull this out. This is one of the things that I just like I can't wait to get my hands on. So I was interested in this because I do like a pore filling primer. I do have a lot of like deep kind of pitting and pores on my throughout my face, and I've heard really great things about it, and it also comes in a mini to try, so I'm not paying for the whole thing. The last thing I bought are actually a couple of nail polishes from London Town. They're a nail polish brand I learned about a couple months ago, and I bought a few things from them. I was interested in some of their colors, which I bought, but I also needed a new top coat. So I decided to try out their Gel Genius base and top coat. I do really like this as a set. This brand is a little bit on the pricier side. They're like a clean brand. They're vegan, cruelty free. They're 16 free. And one of the things I really like about this brand is they have really sophisticated, really beautiful, unique colors. I really like their mauve pinks in particular. So the other thing that I bought is the Fortifying Ridge Filler. So I do have some pretty significant ridges on my thumbs in particular, and this really does help to smooth them out. And at the very least, like when you look across the nail, I'm not flipping you off, I promise, it just looks smooth. Whereas like this one, although it is smooth, there is a ridge that kind of physically dips down this way. There's nothing you can do about that, but it fills in all of the ridges that go across, and it's worked really well, and I'm really glad that I bought this. The other things I bought from this brand are their nail colors. So I have Crowning Crumpet, which is this sheer color. This is currently my favorite. And then I also have Pink Sands here and then Honeymoon here. These 2 colors, and I love them all so far. I really like the formula. The sheer really surprised me as to how much I like it, and then also how much it helps to create a really great manicure. Now, the very last thing I bought today, and this doesn't actually fit into my channel in any way, I'm just really excited about it, so I'm going to show you. So I was at Walmart looking for a new phone. That's like a totally separate story and not really relevant here. But while I was there, I saw this. Ooh. It is a Ninja blender. And so I bought this because about a month ago, no, hold on, timeline here. In September, the little blender that I had, which was a Magic Bullet, by the way, that has been in my family for like a decade, stopped working. Like it cut out, it stopped working, unfixable. So I held out for a while, but ultimately bought a blender, bought one that was fairly cheap but had high reviews. It still wasn't the actual blender that I wanted, but these ones here were pretty expensive, like 150 bucks, pretty typically. And I just didn't really want to be spending that on a blender at this time. So I never used it because I didn't know if I was going to keep it. And then I was not making food with it that I wanted to make because I didn't know if I was going to keep it. So when I was at Walmart, this guy was on sale for $58, which is an incredible deal. And this was the actual blender that I was looking at, that I wanted to buy, that was just out of the price range at the time. So I got the actual blender that I wanted all along. And in some respects, I feel like, oh, Shauna, you just should have waited, because you could have waited and bought the the thing that you wanted. And I can only really say that now because ultimately I bought a blender that I didn't want to use because I still wanted to be able to return it because I didn't know that I wanted to have that one, but I needed one because I do make like lots of food recipes with the blender. And that just should have been like a sign in itself that if you won't use something because you think you might want to return it, you should just return it. So I am returning it, and I am going to keep this blender, which I really like. My partner's family has the Ninja, and I actually had to borrow their blender. The blender that I had before, that Magic Bullet, stopped in the middle of blending up a soup. So I couldn't actually blend up the soup, and I had to borrow somebody's blender to blend up the soup. So now I'm very excited to have this one. And this, by the way, I didn't have to pay for because, which makes this whole thing sweeter, I did end up buying a phone from Walmart, and we got $200 Walmart gift cards each. And so I got to buy this on the gift card, which I'm very excited about. Hey everyone, I forgot to mention one thing that I bought this month, and that is the Pat McGrath blush in Fabulous Flirtation. Oh, it's in the shade Flirtatious. Anyways, this was $36. I got it on a sale. I've been looking for this kind of blush. Look at this shade. I think it's really beautiful. I think this is showing up true to color. It's really unique. It's a beige pink, and I've been wearing this a ton, and I wanted to mention that. So as for how this month went, there's really two things that I want to talk about. And the first one is the longer of the two, and this one, I mean, it's good news. Both of them are good news, by the way, but still revolve around a bit of a difficult topic. And the first just needs a little bit of a backstory. And back in June, as you would know if you've been following the No Buy updates, I moved out. It was really abrupt. It kind of happened almost out of nowhere, and I wasn't something I actually wanted to do, but like I ultimately had to leave. At the time when I left, I wasn't fully honest about the reason why I left. A large part of that was self-protection, but the other part of that was my parents were not receptive to that conversation, period. So it was at that time where there's a lot of people in my life who were saying you need to say something before you leave. I ultimately chose not to because I didn't feel like at that point I could be as free as I needed to be in order to tell them what I needed to tell them, and I felt like I would still be holding myself back and not saying what I wanted to say. So I said, so I decided to wait. This month I actually had that conversation. And I finally talked to my mom about not just why I left, because why I left is really built on decades of trauma and decades of unhappiness and hurt feelings and like really serious things. And when I left, I didn't realize like how much unresolved trauma I was dealing with. At that point, like at the last probably year and a half, especially the last 6 months of living there, I was just like living to live. I was truly on survival mode, and it was just get to the next day, and that was my focus. And once I left, that survival mode kind of was able to dissipate, and then it was like my mind and my body registered that. And it was only at that point that I was able to like see and deal with the trauma. Like when you're just dealing with survival mode, other issues just kind of get pushed down because the survival takes precedent. And I realized, and part of my reaction to moving out was so severe, it was because there was just so much trauma that kind of came rushing in. Things I needed to acknowledge and process. And I don't mean to say that I am anywhere near done processing them. I'm just at the beginning. But it was, had I had that conversation before I moved out, there would be none of this acknowledgement of trauma. I wouldn't have it wasn't even really on my radar. Moving out and not saying anything gave me this awareness. I did wait longer than maybe was necessary, but in that time grew so much strength. And I was able to process, and I did have a conversation with my brother that I really needed to have, and that was so helpful, and that I wouldn't have had if I had said these things earlier. And so this past month I finally had that conversation, and this was the hardest conversation I've ever had to have, and one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. And I was face to face with somebody who genuinely dismissed me for years and caused me trauma and was part of that. And like, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to have that conversation, because also I can imagine being on the receiving end of that, somebody sitting you down for a couple of hours to tell you all the things that, like, all the ways you've hurt them. Is hard, and it's also hard to say it. And so I said what I wanted to say for years. I finally spoke up for myself. I wasn't rude, but I didn't sugarcoat anything. And if I was asked something like, do you respect me? Or I feel like you don't respect me, I would answer, no, I don't. Which I think is maybe more blunt, I'm not sure. But I never had the courage to say these things. And when I've had in the past, I was never listened to. And there were some really clear reasons as to why that was the case. That there was a power imbalance before where they didn't have to listen to me. And now that's gone. I want to, respect the privacy of my mom. And I don't really want to say, what we talked about. But what I do want to let you know, like, what the takeaway of this is. It's not just one, it's a couple of things. The first is that I am strong as hell. I have always been capable of doing these things, of doing these hard things, of advocating for myself, and I did it. And afterwards, I felt like I could, like, conquer the world. And it was a really clear example to me of how I've held myself back. And that, like, I'm the only one holding myself back, and the only person who's going to hold me back is me. And I've said those words before, but there's a difference between, like, knowing that that's true and seeing it in action, and then seeing me push back against myself. It was the boldest and most empowering thing I could have done for myself ever, like, up to this point in my life. And I'm so proud of how I handled the situation, and this might be the win of the year. And I was really afraid in this conversation that the result would, I actually assumed that the result would not be positive. That either what had happened in the past would just, repeat itself. I wouldn't be listened to. I would be told that that's not true. I would be dismissed. I was even thinking that maybe my mom would walk out, that she would leave, that she would yell at me. And that wasn't the case. The conversation really shocked me because I was listened to. I genuinely felt listened to. I felt heard. And I was not discredited or dismissed at all, period. And that's really powerful. It's really powerful to be listened to, but also to make the fact that you're listening clear to somebody else. But what is good about this conversation is that I genuinely feel hope. I feel like the best part of this is that a relationship with my mom is possible in the future. I don't quite know what that looks like yet, or how I could go about doing that, or what that relationship would look like. But I do know that one is possible. And that reconciliation and forgiveness, I think, are part of my future. And I'm really excited about that. And so this conversation is not just good because I have this hope for the future with my family, which is amazing. I also showed myself how freaking strong I am, how resilient I am. And I taught myself a whole lot. The second thing I want to talk about is actually I made a friend, and I want to tell you about her because she's amazing. So in November, I connected with a woman named Courtney, and she used to produce content on Instagram. When she stopped producing content in COVID. I'm not exactly sure how long ago at this point, but before she stopped producing content, I followed her for at least a year. And I loved her content. And so when I started talking to her, like, it was almost like instantly talking to it like an old friend, because I felt like I knew her, and she also felt like she knew me because she's been watching my content. And like, her voice is so unique, where it's like I would recognize it anywhere. Anyways, we've been talking like crazy over the past couple of months. Well, not months, month. The kinds of conversations we're having are like, they're so widespread, and I'm not going to share those here for privacy reasons. I respect the hell out of her privacy. They have been so instrumental for me, because I get somebody to talk through a lot of the things I talk about here, but like, I get to talk through somebody in real time, somebody who thinks not exactly like me, but is kind of noticing some of the similar things that I am, and how we go about doing those things or challenging those things are a little bit different. Like, we are talking about consumerism and capsule wardrobing, and like figuring out what's important to us, and like how to grapple with shopping and family and creating our values and intentions. We're both having those things on our minds, but how we go about them is different. And what has been amazing about that is not just having somebody to bounce ideas off of, but like, we're challenging each other in new ways. And our conversation, like, I started thinking about things I've never would have without talking to her. I know this all sounds kind of vague, but it is through our conversations that next year's project, like, it came together through our conversations. What has also been great has been the vulnerability and complete non-judgment. I've talked about ways that I've failed and ways that I've been disappointed in myself. There's no like disappointing figure kind of standing, you know, down at you like tisk tisk tisk, you did a bad job. It's just like, I'm happy to hear this thing from you. Like, thank you for sharing. And we've talked widely about different subjects as well. To meet a friend as an adult, and somebody who you connect with so instantly and who share some of your values, if you've been there, let me know. I want to hear about your adult friendship stories. I honestly wish that we lived like we were neighbors, because I feel like I would be like, we would be at the coffee shop, or like I'd be at our house, or she'd be here, you know, we'd see each other every day. I think maybe it's probably good that we can't do that. But wow, I feel so invigorated and so grateful when I have something this positive in my life. It's like, wow, look at the amazing people who are around you, who support you, who are just like, you have incredible people in your life. Like, she's an incredible human. And it's just been like, we talk every day or most days, and it's like, okay, like, I can't wait to like see what she said today, or like, I'm sharing something with her and I just like want to hear her thoughts. And I feel that's been like a super highlight of the month. And if you're watching this, Courtney, you're a beautiful friend, and I'm glad to have you in my life. So that's everything for this update. Not a lot going on. Like, sometimes I feel like I have like all of these things to say. I have like 12 things to say. I did buy a little bit more than usual, but December, I actually don't feel like there'll be a lot coming into my life, and it all kind of evens out, I think, in the end. And I'm also kind of glad that in the personal life, there was 2 like big things that happened. And while like the conversation with my mom felt like, I still feel like I'm living that, even though it was over a month ago, or almost a month ago at this point. I'm glad it was just 2. Thank you so much for being here and following along this project in the year. It's definitely changed a lot since January. And if you like this project, I think you will love next year's even more. I think it's going to be really unique and really fun. It's not going to be a no buy or a low buy. It's going to be, I think it's going to be beautiful. So thank you for being here. Thank you for following along with this project. I appreciate your time and your viewership. So thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel, and I hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.